What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 18 of The Fade. I'm joined here with Ethan McLeod, Steve Laurie, and Braden Harvey. We got a Pittsburgh fan down in the bottom left corner here. A-Rob to Pittsburgh for a swap of sevens. Rams take on a remaining 10 mil, and Pitt takes on 5. Harv, how do you like this trade with A-Rob?
I don't think it's bad there. I wouldn't take anything. 7, I think 7's a good spot. I don't think people were saying, "Oh, I would take a third round. I draft him, maybe a fourth," but I think that's just too high. I mean, he tore his ACL 2017. He's had 3 injuries that I know of, 2 hamstring in 2021, 2022, and then last year, I think he had a double injury last year, ankle sprain. But that was I think they were doubtful and one was questionable. But I just don't think bringing on another injury prone. I'm not sure how old he is right now. But yeah, he's been in the league for some time. And last year, what did he had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. He's not really doing much. Which I don't. It's a good vet to have around the young guys that we have on the team, but other than the history that he can show some of the young guys, I don't think he is going to do much. He hasn't done much the past couple of years, and I just think it'll stay that way. I'm not sure if it'll worsen, but I just don't see him being any extreme attribute to the team.
How I look at it is, I look at it I'm not really opposed to it. It's a swap of sevens, and then they cut him and they lose 5 anyways. If A-Rob can return to the form he was when he was in 2020 and 2019 with the Bears, when he had over 1,000 yards and almost 200-yard reception seasons, I don't see why not. I think last year he was just in the wrong system when you have a guy like Cooper Kupp and you're not looking at A-Rob's way. But then when Kupp went down, all the focus went to A-Rob. It's a good trade for both parties, I guess. The Rams are taking the worst end of it anyways. They're still having to pay him 10 mil. You know, so I think they have Calvin Austin too as a number 3 now in Pittsburgh. Pickens and Deontay are really good receivers. If Pickett could do good this year and they get him a line, we'll see. But this A-Rob pick, I look at it if you're going to spend 5 mil on someone, I would have went into free agency and picked up Darius Slayton or someone better than him and more productive. But that's the opinion with Pittsburgh, and you might just need a big body receiver like what Claypool was, and A-Rob's that.
That's what I was going to say, dude, because that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a good replacement for Claypool. And they're only taking, $5 million on of his contract, so I still think that's pretty good. He's a 29-year-old, and like you were saying, I was going to say it too. If you look back a couple years ago, dude, Allen Robinson was arguably a top 7, top 8 receiver in the league. So he can definitely still be good. I think he definitely has gas in the tank. I just don't think he was in the right system. And to swap, basically, like you said, swap 7th-round picks to get Allen Robinson, take $5 million of his contract on, I think that's a pretty good trade. You know what I mean? He's not going to be your number 1 guy. He's probably going to be your number 2, and I think that's good. That's a big body receiver that can still get that. He still has gas in his tank, man. I really do believe that Allen Robinson still has gas in his tank. I think he's going to come in Pittsburgh and he's going to have a decent season this year. No 1,000-yard season, but maybe 650 to 750 yards, we'll say, for Allen Robinson in Pitt. Maybe if baby hands.
He definitely needs to rejuvenate himself, man.
Yeah.
This is his last chance. He'll be done in the league if he shits.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say it's good to be back. Good to be back on the Fade. It's been a minute since me and Harv have been on here. So just want to say it's good to be back with you boys.
Thanks, kid.
Hey, we're glad to have you back, Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
And we're glad that you're joining, Harvey.
Little delay.
Welcome to the crew.
Thanks, boys.
Happy to be here, man.
Allen Robinson, I think it's a pretty good move for the Steelers. I mean, $5 million isn't really that much for a receiver with his kind of potential. I mean, we saw what he did with the Bears. He was an elite receiver. Obviously, the injuries have kind of tore his career in half, but he's only 29. He could get a good year or two with the Steelers. He could be a good veteran for Pickett to throw to, just like a reliable target. But yeah, like $5 million ain't that bad for a third option on a team that honestly wants to make the playoffs. So, for the Rams, I think they're just in a down spiral. Like they move up 17 picks for a guy they got 2 years ago, and we're paying $15 million to have him come in and take them back to the Super Bowl potentially. And that obviously did not work out, but yeah, I don't. This definitely ain't good for the Rams. Same with the Jalen Ramsey trade. That was awful for the Rams. So yeah, I guess we'll see where they go from here on out, but it's not looking too good for them.
I don't think we saw a team go down this bad in a down spiral since they've been in the Super Bowl, and honestly, maybe ever. Because it's really been bad for the Rams, man, since they've been in the Super Bowl. Everything has fallen apart for them. It's sad to see.
To go 1 year, be in the conference championship. The next year you go out and you get a better quarterback. Boom, win the Super Bowl, and then the very next year have 4 wins. Like,
your Triple Crown receiver gets hurt. Like, that sucks, dude.
Really, everything went bad.
Your number 1 corner gets traded for a shitty trade, like you said. But whatever, man.
I think, and I just look at it like they have $74.2 million dead cap. I mean, dude, this is all just going downhill. It's a downward spiral. How long Stafford gonna still be with the Rams in the league? Kupp and Aaron Donald, I'm sure they don't want to waste the rest of their careers losing, and that's a division that, I mean, San Fran should be running that. Even if Brock Purdy misses a couple games and did you see what
Purdy said? I read this article on Facebook that he was saying he's not even sure if he's going to play this season. Purdy.
So, I mean, I think that's why they brought Sam Darnold in there. I don't necessarily know if they trade Trey Lance or whatnot. We'll talk about that later. I think, though, that's why they got Sam Darnold, as there's a veteran, and they showed that, all right, with Brock Purdy, he can go and win. Anyone can fit this system and win. They have the team. They didn't lose much on offense. They honestly didn't lose nothing. So, going off of that, Jalen Hurts, Lamar. Man, Lamar, like Steve, like you said, he's just greedy. Does he deserve the money? Maybe not 50 mil, maybe 40. Comparing Jalen to Lamar, the base by year was 51 to 50. Total injury guaranteed 180 to 175. Fully guaranteed at signing, so this was a signing bonus. Jalen got 110. Lamar would have got 133 right off the jump. Protected guaranteed after year 2 was 126.5. Lamar 168, and received by the end of year 1 was Jalen 60 and Lamar 87.6. What more could you have asked for?
Yeah, and for him to turn down $200 million guaranteed I think it's extremely selfish. And honestly, if I was a Ravens fan, I wouldn't even want my team to pay this guy. Lamar does deserve his money. Don't get me wrong. He does deserve his money, but does he deserve to be the highest paid quarterback of all time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, his arm talent's exceptional at best. I say this all the time. Lamar's great. I'm not taking anything away from him, but his arm talent is not the best. You know what I mean? It never was. He didn't win the MVP because of him throwing touchdowns. You know what I mean? He won the MVP because he was breaking records with his legs. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why. And I think teams kind of see this, like they don't want that running quarterback as your guy. You don't want to pay him to a long-term contract because quarterbacks like that die out at a young age. You're going to see Lamar start to die out when he's 30. Look at Cam Newton. You know what I mean? Cam Newton was kind of that big running quarterback guy, and where's Cam Newton now? You know what I mean?
I think the difference is, though, with Cam Newton and Lamar is Cam Newton was more like I told you. Josh Allen's the white Cam Newton. What did Josh Allen just say in a press conference is he needs to start thinking more as I'm not just an athlete or a football player, I'm a quarterback. He needs to start playing more like a quarterback instead of going and embracing the hits. Go down, slide, save yourself, man. If you want longevity in the league, dude, you can't be putting your body on the line like that as a QB. So I mean, keep going on.
I do think it's smart though, man. Kind of on his. I mean, I think it's selfish, but I think it's smart at the same time because, as everybody knows, the quarterback numbers keep going up. You know what I mean? If the next quarterback that gets paid, it's probably going to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's probably going to be the highest paid quarterback of all time, and if Lamar really has his numbers set, he can go in this season, play his heart out. You know what I mean? He can and earn that money. You know what I mean? If you want to be the highest paid of all time, you got to earn it. Like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow absolutely deserves it. You know what I mean? Justin Herbert, if he get it, he absolutely deserves it as well. Lamar, you got to look at the difference of Lamar and Justin Herbert, how they play, and then how Lamar plays. You know what I mean? Justin Herbert, in my opinion, is a little bit more dynamic than Joe Burrow, but Lamar is just, yeah. But Lamar, man, is just, you're saying to bring all these receivers and you're saying bring in D-Hop, bring in Odell. Why would this team pay out these receivers, two top name receivers in the league? Honestly, Odell, I'm not saying Odell's one of the best receivers in the league, but he's definitely one of the biggest names. You know what I mean? He wants that money. Obviously, they already paid him $18 million for a year. And Hopkins, he's already being paid, so you have to take on his contract if they were to bring him in. So why would you, as the Ravens GM, why would you pay two receivers that insane amount of money and then pay Lamar all of his money if he's not even going to throw the ball to these receivers? You know what I mean? You're not going to see Lamar break 1,000 yards this season. I'm sorry, but you're not. Lamar doesn't throw the ball enough. He doesn't. And
I see the business aspect of where Lamar's coming from, get the most money, whatever, but you also have to be reasonable with it. If you want to get the targets around you and you want to get them blockers and you want to make big plays, you're not going to make those big plays with who you can get with a little amount of money. Like I understand, I don't even understand bringing OBJ in or any saying about D-Hop. How long do you think these guys have left? Like D-Hop's dirt, like he's dirt old. I mean, he's amazing.
He still plays at a top level though, D-Hop. So
if you're a GM, you're thinking, where am I going to be at in 5-10 years? Not next year. Because
they're not thinking about that though. They're just thinking about getting Lamar back. And how to get Lamar back is bringing big names.
And then
he's never had a big name receiver.
Right. And that's what happens when you're your own manager. Like your head gets big and you see them dollar signs, but you don't see every other attribute that you can get by taking 30, 40, 50 million less. You're still getting paid. Like, in all honesty, you're still getting paid more than a lot of these quarterbacks that are potentially better than Lamar. He had one MVP run season, but he, like Lori, like Luke, like you guys said, he doesn't have anything else really to contribute but his legs.
From a business aspect, I really don't understand how someone turns down $2 million.
No,
like in aspect, $200 million. I'm taking it no matter what I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. It's guaranteed, bro. Like, what are you doing? Jalen Hurts didn't even get that much guaranteed.
And how you were saying, Steve, about Lamar's play style, how it's not like it's not really like any quarterbacks, really. But with his play style, you get more potential for injury. With him running 20 times a game, that's why it's important for him to get that guaranteed money. And $200 million for 5 years or 4 years.
Ridiculous. Was it 4 years?
4 years?
5.
Yeah. I think it was 4.
$1 guaranteed a year. That's insane.
So $50 million a year, something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I take that in a heartbeat. I don't know what he's expecting to get. Like 300 million, 400 million. Like, when does it stop? When is it good enough for him?
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes got the 10-year, but Mahomes is a proven guy. You know what I mean?
Mahomes, as long as Mahomes plays out his contract, he's going to be probably the best quarterback of all time.
Yes, so. And that's 10. Even what? How many years is he in on his contract? 2, 3.
Mahomes, I think, is going into his third.
Yeah, and dude, he's
contract.
Yeah, and it's just Mahomes. Why give him the money? He's I think a 2-time MVP, multiple time Super Bowl champion, multiple time Super Bowl MVP. This guy do deserve the money. You know what I mean? He's the most consistent quarterback in the NFL. You tell me, throw me any quarterback that gets a touchback with 13 seconds left, and they're gonna go win that game for you in the AFC Championship game. Name one.
I agree.
Just look what he did with his injuries.
Yeah,
like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Lamar to say that he knows his worth too, you don't think Patrick Mahomes knows his worth? You know what I mean? He's not the highest paid quarterback in the league. Does he absolutely deserve to be? Yes, but he already took that contract. You know what I mean? And if you look back, dude, to 4 or 5 years ago, $120 million for 4 years was a massive contract for a quarterback. You know what I mean? Now these quarterbacks are getting $250 million. So it's just crazy, like how much the salary cap's going up and how much these quarterbacks expect more year and year and year. Like it's just going to go up and up. It's crazy.
I think though, I do give Lamar his credit where it's due. He never really had that big name receiver. You know what I mean? Like there was never any trades made at deadlines. I mean, this is Odell Beckham Jr. we're talking about. This is a guy who's an absolute stud. He had a whole season off, so now there's no injuries coming into it. We know what he's capable of, dude. Like we said last podcast, the guy would have been a Super Bowl MVP. He would have put 3 tutties on Eli Apple's head. This guy isn't. He is, though. He is. You know what you're getting when you get Odell. And if this brings Lamar Jackson back to the drawing boards, by all means, the Ravens made a good choice because, dude, you don't want to sit there every season wondering, all right, which quarterback are we going in free agency to try snagging? Or do we have to draft one? This and that, dude. You just want one, honestly, and they need that. They need Lamar. Lamar's the guy there.
Another reason why I don't agree with Lamar is look at his competition in the AFC. Mahomes, he's already won 2 Super Bowls, been to 3. Joe Burrow, he's been in the league for less time. He's already been to a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship. What's Lamar done in the playoffs? He's 1 for 4.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he didn't want to re-sign because, dude, he was hoping to get to the NFC, honestly. And I'm not going to lie, dude, the Commanders might make this a shocking trade in the draft.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say don't be surprised if you see Lamar in a Commander's jersey still.
Yeah. I think Atlanta's off the table. I think the Commanders make the most sense.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. Or, like, if one of these teams like Indy to Houston or the Panthers are like, yo, like, we're not in love with any of these QBs, I can see them going and getting Lamar. You know what you're getting with Lamar. You don't know necessarily what you're getting at a pro level with these guys.
I agree with you 100%, dude.
I don't know. I feel like Lamar is going to stay in Baltimore for at least this year. And I feel like them getting Odell is kind of like a safety blanket. Like, yo, we got you, Odell. Just stay, test it out, see how it goes this year. And whatever happens this year, next year we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah. I feel like he could definitely still go to the Commanders next year if that was the case, because they need a quarterback. They'll always need a quarterback.
Yeah,
I saw a couple clips of Odell working out. He looks good.
Yeah,
with everything.
Sorry,
he's looking good.
Serious.
But going off of that, Trey Lance, Mr. Now, he's irrelevant now in San Fran. He got replaced by Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, dude, there was mutual talks already. They've discussed it with Minnesota, so Minnesota did make the call. There's been talks about him possibly getting traded to Minnesota. I see that being a good fit. I think Kirk is he's getting up there in age. He's not getting them to where they need to be in the postseason. They're going to have to pay Jay Jetta soon. they're talking about just flat out cutting Dalvin Cook. That could be a guy who gets traded at the draft too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Dalvin Cook did so wrong, but I mean, they're talking about just getting rid of him. They're going to need money for Justin Jefferson. They got rid of Thielen. They're clearing up this money. Trey Lance still on a rookie deal. Kirk Cousins getting paid big. Can see that ending soon. I think Minnesota is a good fit for him. If he wants to revamp his career, try it. Do you guys think that Trey Lance could be an above-average quarterback to an elite quarterback? Because he was drafted 3rd overall, I believe, by San Fran in 2020 or 2021, whichever one. What do you think's the best fits for him? And do you think he can play at an elite level?
I still believe him. I think he could definitely be a starter in this league. Obviously, whatever team he goes to, if he gets traded, it's not probably going to be a good team. So, I mean, I could see him going to like the Colts, but then maybe trading like a 4th or 5th for him.
What team?
The Colts.
Okay.
I can see him going there. Yeah, I guess we just got to see, honestly. He's only played 2 NFL games, Steve started 2 NFL games. So we just honestly have to see how it plays out for him this year. But yeah, he has to play somewhere, whether it's San Fran, so somehow if he manages to get the starting role there, or he gets traded, which is probably more likely.
Yeah, I can see him like you said, Luke. I like him at the Vikings. Kirk's getting old. I think Jettas would be an exceptional target for him. I mean, we've only seen him, not much of him at all, so we don't know what he's like really capable of yet. I mean, he has the talents to be something good with the right targets, with the right protection, and I think like the Colts, I'm leaning more to the Vikings than the Colts. Like you said, they're clearing up that cap space. Maybe they get some big guys in there. Not super, outstanding. No OBJ or that. But I mean, Jettas could be a good. I can see him doing a lot. I don't think that he's going to go to the Colts, which it's not a bad fit for him, but like you said, the Vikings are already pursuing that. Dalvin Cook, that would be great to have him in the backfield, but like if he gets traded, I think that would hurt the Vikings. But bringing in Trey Lance, I like the young guy that has exceptional legs, his strong legs. He's kind of a big body quarterback. I think he has a good season if he goes to the Vikings, but we could see how it pans out.
Yeah, with the Vikings, I think Dalvin Cook is very replaceable. I mean, they literally
they got Madison.
Yeah, they literally have a clone of him in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely replaceable. Like, if Trey Lance would go there, honestly, if anyone would go there, they'd excel with Jefferson. He's the best receiver in the NFL. Like, you're going to excel with him. I could see him going there. Yeah, I think.
I wouldn't put it far enough to say that Tennessee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about them.
Yeah, I don't think they're high enough to where they can draft one of these big quarterback names. But I did read into it to where it was like they've been calling Arizona trying to move to that 3rd spot. And if they can't get that 3rd spot, Trey Lance they don't believe in Malik Willis. Tannehill's been absolutely ass. And I would say if the money was right, if this team didn't have so much money dead, I could see him being in Los Angeles as a Ram. But there's no chance that happens because they don't have the money. And I mean, just to learn under Stafford for a year would have been a cool thing to do.
I like the Minnesota thing for Trey Lance too, man, because like Ethan and you said, Luke, you're gonna excel with Justin Jefferson. He's the best receiver in the league, and you have to clear money out for him too, because he's also gonna be the highest paid receiver in the league. And not only that, he's gonna be the highest paid receiver of all time, most likely. So you definitely have to clear the money out for him. I do like the idea of Trey Lance going over or starting over with the best receiver in the league. But another one that I could see maybe trading for Trey Lance is Detroit, because you don't really – Jared Goff isn't your long-term quarterback. You know what I mean? He's good.
He had a pretty good season last year.
He did have a pretty good season. He did. I'm not taking nothing away from him either, but you don't know what Jared Goff's going to do in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Why? I think you trade for – if it's cheap enough, I think you trade for Trey Lance, but it's probably not going to be that cheap because, like you said in the beginning, he was drafted 2nd overall not too long ago. He's just not really proven in the league. So maybe you could get him at a good price. You know what I mean? And if Detroit was to bring in Trey Lance and have him compete and say that he does get the starting job and he's playing really well, Detroit is starting to get to the point where they have a lot of weapons everywhere. You know what I mean? They're going to be not really, I wouldn't say a Super Bowl contender, but they're going to be a solid playoff contender very shortly. They really are. You have another good receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He broke out this year. He's gonna play extremely well, I think, if he can stay healthy and have a good career. They have who's the other one? Jameson Williams, the kid from Alabama.
Oh, he's a beast.
He's
dude.
hard.
Yeah,
he's hard.
Yeah. They have him, man. So there's weapons everywhere, and then they have 2 good running backs. They have Swift. He's a great running back, Swift, man. I like him a lot. He's extremely shifty. I think he's healthy. He is a top 6 running back in the league. I like him a lot. He's young, he's healthy, he's shifty, he plays extremely well. So there's weapons everywhere for Trey Lance to start over and kind of make a name for himself in Detroit if that was to happen. But there's a couple teams that aren't really set on their long-term guy. You know what I mean? Baker just wants the Bucks for a year. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's another team I had written down was Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And even, dude, again, the Commanders. Like
Yeah,
you said, they're the team that always seems to just need a quarterback. You know, they should have kept Heineke, dude, as a backup. Even like bring him in to let him compete. But I think Heineke just felt unappreciated in Atlanta, in Washington, and was like, dude, you guys are douchebags. Like, I'm taking you to the playoffs. I'm doing my absolute best, and I just always fall short. And so I think Atlanta's a good fit, and that's an easy division to win. Like we've been saying podcast after podcast, the NFC South is going to be one of the easiest divisions this year. Guys in Tampa are requesting trades. Baker, we don't know what we're getting with Baker, but I'm sure if Baker sucks, Mike Evans and Godwin are going to be saying they want out of there too. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina, I don't think Adam Thielen's necessarily the answer, but if this quarterback works out in their favor, hey, you never know. Even Andy Dalton, he's a proven veteran in the league, so whatever happens with that, we'll see.
Great mentor to have too, Andy Dalton.
I like Andy Dalton.
Bringing a rookie quarterback, he's a great mentor to have.
Yeah, even if they got Josh McCown as the QB coach. Josh McCown is the reason he had so much longevity in the league. You know, that's a guy who's played 17, 18 seasons, maybe with 14 teams, but he still had longevity in the NFL to where he's a good quarterback coach and a good mentor as well. Going off of that,
he played in a playoff game at 38 years old.
It was out with Philly, right?
Yeah, against the Seahawks.
Yeah. Remember when he got laid out, dude?
Yeah.
For McCown, bro, against Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, McCown.
Okay, before we move on, I got one more hot take for Trey Lance. All right, hear me out. The Texans, they don't like what they see in Bryce Young. They don't like what they see in C.J. Stroud. They either pick Will Anderson or Jalen Carter or someone else.
We'll leave it
back.
Not at 2, I don't think we'll leave.
I don't think we'll leave it.
Or they could trade down or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they trade for Trey Lance for this year.
Not the 2 pick though, bro.
No. They
have a 12th pick though too.
They trade like a 4th or 5th. They build up their roster. They get Trey Lance. If that works out, great. You got Trey Lance, and he's good.
They're set there, too. That's a team that's rebuilding, and they brought in some really key aspects in the offseason.
Yeah, they had a great offseason, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, they really did, dude.
They kind of did, yeah.
I think, if they don't like what they see in Bryce Young, which is probably who they're going to pick, if they pick a quarterback,
like
what they see, I think that's kind of a good option for them.
We know what Houston know. What they do love the most is drafting high, is DNs. They took
Yeah, they do.
JJ Clowney at one point.
Took Clowney at 1.
Yeah, they did take Clowney at 1, I believe.
Yeah, 2014.
So I wouldn't put it far mistaken to say Will Anderson doesn't end up in Houston. You know, and they roll with Davis Mills or whoever. You know, I don't think Davis Mills is the answer, but
No,
I mean, dude, Pierce is a beast.
Yeah, Dameon Pierce is really good. I like him.
Even dude, if they take a quarterback in the later rounds like Hendon Hooker, you know what I mean? They still got 12.
Bennett.
Yeah, they're still picking at 12, man. Even if Anthony Richardson falls to 12, you know, I wouldn't put it that far away to say they're not going to draft.
Did you say Stetson Bennett? Or
Yeah.
I like that, dude. I think Stetson Bennett's good.
I don't think
If they were to trade down, I mean, that's a good quarterback to take late, though. You know what I mean? That's just like when the Eagles took Jalen Hurts. It's kind of a quarterback that's going under the radar. You know what I mean? Stetson Bennett can be good, I think.
Stetson Bennett might retire before he even gets drafted.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we were talking about who's going to fall long in the draft. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I see Stetson Bennett going maybe 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, I see Bennett's
3rd
going
or
to
4th
be like,
overall, are you saying?
No, 3rd or 4th round.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's going like anywhere from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
He just got busted, dude, with public intoxication too. So I mean, you know,
I didn't know that.
you know, NFL owners, dude, they're going to be all in on that. So
Yeah.
but all right, going off of that, the Raiders are willing to trade up for Arizona's 3rd pick. Everyone's calling Arizona, man. You know what I mean? They're saying the hotline's blinging up there. But only if it's a QB they love. You sign Jimmy G. I don't think you bring in a QB. I think that just takes that spark away from Garoppolo. You know what I mean? I think it's just you roll with Jimmy G, roll with the Tide, let Brian Hoyer back him up.
Do you think Garoppolo's just depressed at this point?
No one wants him.
I know a lot of modeling agencies do want this guy modeling. Dude, one of these places in Las Vegas, you know what they offered him, dude, since he signed there? Free sex for life. I swear to God, dude. I swear to God. This escort agency.
I feel like he probably doesn't really need that offer.
I think he has
he's an NFL player, dude. He's an NFL quarterback. He's good.
Yeah, I think he does have a wife, but there's definitely many other wives that would like a piece of him.
Including you.
A piece of the cake, Ethan says.
No, Lori, sorry, not a wife.
What's your guys' take on just Jimmy G? Do you think Raiders draft or what?
I don't think they draft, man. They just picked up Jimmy G, you know what I mean? But who knows, man? They might really be intrigued by Anthony Richardson, you know. And I was saying this a couple pods ago that I thought when they were projecting Anthony Richardson to go around like 6 to 8, I thought that Vegas was gonna end up picking him up. And if they are intrigued by him, that's still a major possibility. So I think Anthony Richardson would work out way, way better than Jimmy Garoppolo is going to ever work out. And as the Raiders, you know what I mean? They have Devontae Adams. Anthony Richardson is so dynamic. He's my favorite quarterback in this draft for sure. I definitely don't think he's going to go number 1 either. So we'll see.
I don't think that I don't think they take the draft. I think they keep Jimmy G because Devontae Adams is kind of a guy that makes quarterbacks look good. Like if you can't hit Devontae Adams, you might as well just go home at that point. Because I don't hate Jimmy G. I don't think he's a horrible quarterback. Do I see him backing up a rookie? Absolutely not. Do I see him backing him up anywhere else? Absolutely not. I think with Devontae and Renfro, he kind of has the pick of the litter there. Renfro's a great wide receiver, and Devontae one of the 2 best in the league. Arguably Jettis. So
I
I
would
don't
say,
think,
he's the best route runner in the league, definitely.
arguably the best in the league. So I don't see why he would have a bad season. But I mean, anything can happen. I like Jimmy G personally, but I mean, is he longevity? Absolutely not. But I don't think at 7 they can get someone that can attribute something better than a rookie quarterback.
Vegas, Arizona, neither of these teams are going to be good. They're not going to make the playoffs. Next question. No. I think
knock it off.
You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. I don't think.
I think the Raiders, they might as well just keep Garoppolo. I mean, what's the point of trading for him and then drafting a quarterback? It didn't work out with Carr, so you get Garoppolo. I guess that's an upgrade for them. I guess whatever. I don't really know what they would do with the draft pick if they want to get a quarterback, but. Yeah.
So now that CJ Stroud, that S2 test, he was supposed to apparently go first overall, right? Steve, we've all been talking about this the last couple of weeks. Am I right?
Yeah.
So now that he's fallen, is it? And now how we said Bryce Young canceled all these next interviews, all this sit-down time. Did the Texans call and say, hey, we're taking you number 1, that's that? Or Carolina? Did they do that, Steve?
My audio cut out. What did you say?
I said because Bryce Young said, "Hey, I'm canceling all these." Is he going number 1 to Carolina?
I mean, dude, my mic keeps muting. I don't know what's wrong, but I think there's a chance that he could for sure. But I still think it's going to be Stroud, man, because Bryce Young's just too short, I think. You know what I mean? To have as your quarterback on behind the line. Look at Kyler Murray's still good, you know what I mean? But he can barely see over the center, hiking him the ball. So I still think that if you're looking at a QB that has the build, it's CJ Stroud, but all around talent, I think Bryce Young's better than CJ Stroud, but I still think Stroud's going to go number 1 overall to Carolina because and if he doesn't go number 1, and if he falls, he's still going to go top 5. You know what I mean? He's not going to fall to mid first round or nothing like that. If he falls, it still will be top 5 for sure. If Bryce Young goes number 1, and obviously CJ Stroud's going to fall.
I like Bryce Young, but I also think CJ resembles his humbleness, like the way he talks about running a team. Like I feel like that's the guy that you want in your organization for leadership. He gives me kind of like Jalen Hurts, like the way that the guys talk about him in the locker room. You know, he makes everybody better. But I think they take Bryce Young. You know, Alabama's a very exceptional quarterback team. I just think Bryce Young's small, like Steve said. He's small hands. But I mean, Pittsburgh. Look at Pittsburgh. They're believing in Kenny Pickett. He's probably got the smallest hands in the league, and they want him to do big things. So you got to take
Kenny Pickett.
It's kind of like it's on the fence right now. We'll see what he can do, but I would probably take CJ. Honestly, the way that he carries himself, what he can do. I mean, look what he's done playing in college. He's exceptional. They're both 2 exceptional quarterbacks. I wouldn't mind either.
I'd say they're both better than exceptional.
Yeah. Well, no. You know, they're good quarterbers.
They're better quarterbacks than the last draft class. Let's just put it.
This draft class quarterbacks, there's a lot of talent.
Way better, dude. Malik Willis sucks. Kenny Pickett is not going to go and blow teams out of the water, but he could get the job done. He's just in a very hard division. Don't get me wrong.
The hardest in the NFL.
I'd say
Well,
up there.
we could save that for another discussion.
Oh yeah. Personally,
All right, Eth.
Are we talking about Stroud
Yeah,
supposedly not being coachable or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, the S1 test or whatever.
S2.
S2, like I don't even know what that is. So like I don't really base my opinion just off of what this source is telling me because I don't even know what this source is. So
It's the PSSAs for NFL players.
Yeah.
Standardized testing for all NFL quarterbacks. Yeah, I don't know. I still see Stroud going number one unless like something major happens like in his personal life, but I don't think that'll happen. I wouldn't draft. I wouldn't draft Bryce Young first because last time a short, undersized quarterback drafted first. It reminds me of Kyler Murray, like Steve said. Obviously, an exceptional. Oh, sorry, Steve, not exceptional.
Sorry, bro.
Above exceptional.
Steve, this isn't exceptional enough.
Above exceptional college quarterback, and it just isn't working out so far in the NFL. I could see that happening to Bryce Young. So, yeah, I think the Panthers they're going to roll with Stroud. I feel like that's a given at this point.
Going off of that, we got Deshaun Watson. Me and Steve talked about this last week. He's feeling night and day now that he's been there in Cleveland. So I'll let you two discuss this one because we're running a little short on time for our last thing. What do you think about Deshaun Watson? Could he be good or what?
I think Deshaun Watson has a chance to be the NFL's most improved player next year. Obviously, last year.
Oh, the outroar that would happen if that came about, huh?
But the past 2 years have been hell for this dude. Whether I feel bad for him or not is, I don't know. But he could come back and play like he did in 2019, 2020, and everyone would be like, damn, he's back. I mean, he has weapons. He's got Amari. They got Goodwin. They got Elijah Moore. He has weapons in Cleveland. David Njoku, if he could ever stay healthy for a whole season, he's a great tight end.
They got the best running back in the league.
Yeah, so I honestly, if he doesn't come back and bounce back, especially with how much he's getting paid, he doesn't really deserve. He does not deserve that because he has every opportunity to at least win 8 or 9 games. Like Harv said, that's really a tough division, and they probably won't make the playoffs, but they could. We've seen the Browns 2 years ago win a playoff game for the first time in how long? So I think with the team they have a nice defense too. Watson, he really has to shine out. He really has to shine, but I think he could do it. I think he could.
I could see that team, dude, squeezing into a wild card spot at like 9-8 or 10-6. I see Cincy winning that division.
Yeah. I think everyone would probably pick Cincy to win that division, but honestly, like 3 teams out of that division could make it to the playoffs. So,
all right, Harv, what do you got on that?
You're muted, Harv.
Harv, you mute it.
I don't know why I did that. I feel like Deshaun did have the roughest 2 years of his life. And he has a lot of pressure built up. But I mean, with the team that he has, and Amari, DJ Moore, they picked up a lot to put around him. So I don't think there's an excuse for him this season. Or Elijah Moore, yeah. I don't think there's an excuse for him this season. So I don't have very much to say on him, but I feel like he can do a lot. He showed us what he can do, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He was an amazing quarterback. And I think he's young and he's very good. So I think that's probably the Browns' best. They got what was the best for them. I don't think there's any other player that they would have picked over him at the time that would have been better for them.
Is the draft this following Thursday coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I think it starts.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Final. We're just gonna do this final thing. You know, which QB do you expect to fall off this season? I'll go first. I think it's gonna be Daniel Jones. Why I think that is I just don't think he's proven enough to get the money he's getting, over 40-some mil. And, I mean, I can just see him crapping a bed. They didn't bring back any – they brought back, Slayton and Shepard as their guys. Yeah, and Saquon's even saying he's going to hold out till he gets his contract. They don't have anyone there. I can see Daniel Jones completely just shitting the bed. My quarterback that I think will rise is Deshaun Watson. I think he has all the momentum. The reason he sucked last season is he had to miss so much of the offseason away from the team because of the suspension and allegations that came out about him. I think he has ultimately, due to he's surrounded by great weapons, the best running back. When you have a guy who you have to be scared if he's running the ball, and then you have a former Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, who's a standout with a crappy Jets team, Marquise Goodwin, one of the fastest receivers in the game, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a great receiver as well. Not great, but a great asset to have, a reliable receiver, and then David Njoku, who was paid for a reason. A pretty well offensive line, and then a defense who can hold teams to less than 20-some a game. So I think Deshaun Watson could rise. I think he has it all in favor.
My quarterback, man, that I think is going to fall off this season, I think a lot of people will agree on this, is Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins' time in Minnesota is done, not maybe before the season even starts, if not, definitely after this season. He's getting up there in age, you know what I mean? He was drafted back in 2014. He had his moments last year, but he's not a stud. You know what I mean? You have the best receiver in the game, you know what I mean? You also had Adam Thielen at the time and Dalvin Cook, you know what I mean? You should be playing pretty well at all times on offense, you know what I mean? And Kirk Cousins doesn't. He shows flashes of degrading all the time, and I think his time is starting to come to an end. Not only in Minnesota, but probably in the NFL soon. We'll see Kirk Cousins retire within 2-3 years max. And a quarterback that I think is going to rise this year is Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville's offense hasn't really lost anything. And not only that, they gained one of the best receivers in the league in Calvin Ridley. So Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to have an absolute breakout year this year, maybe even be an MVP candidate. So I'm sold on Jacksonville completely. The coaching is phenomenal. All around, they're getting pretty good. Their offense is really good. Their defense is getting better. They haven't really lost anybody, like I said, and they're just bringing dudes in to fill their needs, and they have a great quarterback in Trevor Lawrence.
I like that take, Steve. Very good.
Thanks.
Who do I think will fall off? I think I want to say, I don't know if it would be a real fall off, but I don't really see Kyler Murray. I mean, I know they made the moves that he wanted them to make in the staff and whatnot, but having someone that's very hard to coach is not a good look. I mean, no matter who you bring in there, he's still going to have his problems. I just see a spiral in Murray. He's already having problems he hasn't even been in the league a long time.
Yeah, he might not even play this season.
Yeah, he makes $36 million a year.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't see him getting any more better than he was last season with whatever changes they're making based around his beliefs of whatever. And I think I was going to say, Steve, I won't take yours, Trevor Lawrence. I was going to say him, but I think Deshaun Watson, I'd probably have to say the targets that they acquired over the offseason is unremarkable. They really did what they needed to do for Deshaun Watson to strive in that organization. I mean, he's been in the past. He's been a great quarterback, and he's had a lot of hardships. And I just think he's coming in with a vengeance.
Good take, Harv.
Okay, the quarterback that I think is going to fall off this year. It hurts me to say this because I love him, but I think Geno Smith is going to fall off this year.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, to have your best season come at the age of 32 years old, and like he was like actually like really good, like not just saying because it's Geno Smith he played good. No, like as compared to all the other quarterbacks, he was probably like a top 6 or 7 quarterback in terms of stats.
Yeah, he had a great season, dude.
He had over 4,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns. So I just don't think a 33-year-old quarterback who really hasn't had that much experience in the starting role other than last year, I don't think he could really come back and play that good again, especially with the team that overachieved what they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be the worst team in the NFL or one of them, and they went and made the playoffs. So I don't really see that happening again, and I feel like Geno might play so bad that he loses the starting role eventually.
Do you think they draft a quarterback?
I don't think they draft a quarterback this year, no. Maybe in the later rounds, like not any of the top 5 dudes that are projected to go. But yeah, I could see them taking a flyer maybe, but I don't think they will. I think they'll stick with Geno. I mean, like I said, he took them above and beyond their expectations for last year. So, yeah, but I don't think he's going to replicate that.
He didn't get a contract yet. No,
he's paid. They paid him well.
Yeah, he's under contract.
They paid him in the 30s, right?
Yeah, he's making like 30-something a year.
I think he's 37, but I'm not.
Yeah, like 30, anywhere from 35 to 38.
Off one season.
And then
for 3 years.
For my quarterback who's going to bounce back is going to be his old buddy, the one who got traded from that team, Russell Wilson. I think last year was some out of a nightmare that happened to the Broncos and Russell Wilson, and he's still a great quarterback. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You know, he's obviously lost a step since, his Super Bowl days, but he's got to come back and improve. I mean, there's really no room for him to get worse than he was last year. I think another year, another offseason with the team is really going to help his chemistry with his receivers, and hopefully the new coaching that the Broncos have helps that offense get running better.
One guy I just want to say is going to rise. Baker. Either of those 2 QBs in the NFC South NFC South, Baker Mayfield or Derek Carr are going to tear it up, dude. And I think it's going to be – I think both of them have the targets. Mike Thomas is coming back for some reason. He sees that, and he took less money. He could have got cut and went somewhere else. And dude, Derek Carr is going to have a great season. I hope he does too, and we'll see with the suspension with Kamara. But, hey, Baker. I'm rooting for Baker, dude. Let's go.
I'm really surprised nobody said Baker or Derek Carr, man.
Derek Carr was my second choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, get the Bake Show rolling in Tampa Bay because it's going to be nice and sunny up there.
They're going to call it Tampa Bake.
Hey, Tampa Bay, dude. Hey, but thank you guys for tuning in to episode 18.